WTH.
What the hell?
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 This is the WTH.
The WTH podcast.
Hold on to your butts.
Jason Casey.
Jason Casey.
Kareem Daniels.
Kareem Daniels.
And Nate Darling.
Nate Darling.
From the Darling New Media Studios.
This is the WTH podcast.
Hey, thanks for joining us and downloading the show, streaming it on Facebook Live, checking it out on YouTube, listening on your Amazon Alexa, wherever you're getting the show. We appreciate you, and we appreciate you not being an a-hole.
Yeah. Right.
There we go.
No a-hole club.
No a-hole. Coming up on the show today, we've got another Florida Corner. It's just been so much good stuff. Plus, Roger Stone wants your money.
Of course he does.
Mike Tyson reveals just how much marijuana he's smoking.
A lot.
And some big news and small town news back in Vermont.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, let's hear it.
We'll get to that by the end. I hope everybody had a great weekend. We're, it's the 18th. 18th of November. Good Lord.
Damn, son.
Time's a fleeting is what it is.
Damn. Fleeting.
Year is almost over.
It is. It's almost my anniversary, so it's almost your anniversary, Jason.
It is.
Yeah.
My anniversary is on Thanksgiving this year.
Very good. What is the date?
28th.
On the 25th.
I was like, let me see.
You're just double checking that? Just double check the inside of the ring?
Yeah, 28th.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Excellent.
Way of saving your ass.
Oh, man. When I found out that was an option, I was like, oh, yeah, we're definitely putting that in there.
For us, it's exactly a month before Christmas, so it's really easy to remember.
Oh, yeah.
What's funny is so when we got married, it was Black Friday. So we got engaged.
Right.
We got engaged on Thanksgiving. The next year, we got married on Black Friday, so same day. And this year, because of the way everything shook out with the calendar, 3 years later, our anniversary is before Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's kind of a weird month, but all sorts of stuff going on. Let's see. What do we got to chit chat about? So at this point, the public impeachment hearings have been going on. I don't know that I'm going to watch much of it. I mean, at this point, I don't know that I have watched much of it.
Well,
depending on where you are in the time machine. If you're watching on Facebook Live, we'll watch. It's a lot. I remember I didn't watch that much of Clinton's impeachment because it was stupid. Because of really what it was about it didn't impede his ability to be president at all.
Right.
Did it mean he had questionable personal character? Okay, sure. Did it mean that he was unable to be president because he was, not being able to do the job of the American people? No, which is why he was not removed from office. I mean,
and the thing was, wasn't even. Nobody knew what was going on, so he couldn't even be blackmailed for it until Linda Tripp. But that was very weird. The one thing I remember watching on TV, and this was when I was much younger, I remember coming home from school and watching the Oliver North. It was in the summer. The Oliver North testimony, the Iran-Contra hearings, which were kind of a big deal in the 80s. Look it up, kids. Iran-Contra. Yeah, you should definitely look at that.
It's very, very interesting reading. It was a weird time in our history.
Well, and especially when you find out what that was, like all the background on it too. Because I mean, there's the face of it in the way that it was sold to the American people there, but they didn't really divulge. Like some people knew or had an idea, but they didn't really divulge everything that was going on behind the scenes. And
yeah, so should the United States government maybe making settlements with the black communities that they sold crack to?
Yeah, seriously.
The way that we're doing with the opioid people right now.
Did you see? Have either of you guys been watching The Watchmen?
I haven't. It's on my list of things to watch.
it's not giving anything away, but basically the victims of Black Wall Street got reparations for everything that happened to them. Right. So if you could be proved that you were in that time zone, in that area, from that place, you got reparations by Robert Redford, who's the president in the show.
Wow. Okay.
But I mean, like, that's I mean, should yeah. I mean, I wouldn't. I'd be okay with that. I mean, I'd be okay with the reparations. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, they said it's weird.
How are we going to pay for it?
By taxing the rich at 50% the way they were in the 50s.
Or take back the fucking tax cuts you just gave them.
Yeah.
What I found very interesting is someone on Twitter said the next time someone asks Elizabeth Warren how she's going to pay for health care for all, that the answer should be Mexico's going to pay for it.
Yeah.
And, just sort of go from there. This is a week old at this point, but I'm just glancing in to see what the score of the Seahawks and Niners game is, and the Niners are winning as we're recording this. So,
and then I'll probably watch it though.
Yeah.
With the Watchmen?
No, the Twitter or the impeachment stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'll catch bits of it, and the interesting thing is with YouTube and Twitter, you can catch bits of it, but you don't get the idea. But I don't have the time. Yeah. Like most people, I don't have the time to sit and watch the whole thing.
Well, the thing I've been doing is with, because I'm in the car most of the day, is the podcasts I've listened to catch up with the stuff that I've missed.
Mm.
Right. Yeah, it's and then it's did I? Where am I getting my information from? Because there's always spin coming out of these things. Whether it and if it's someone you agree with, okay, but doesn't that kind of defeat the purpose?
Well, a lot of them are doing just straight news with it.
Sure, but everybody's got a little bit of a slant.
Yeah,
everybody's got a little bit of a slant, and as much as I like Rachel Maddow and her very long drawn out delivery of stuff, I already know how she's going to slant it. In the same way that I know Hannity's going to slant stuff a certain way. I just want someone to lay out exactly what was said and what it means, and not this slant.
Ezra Klein on Vox. He does a podcast where he brings different people in to explain the whole impeachment process.
Ironically enough, I've seen a lot of clips of Judge Napolitano on Fox being that voice of explaining something from a factual basis, and I'm like, where's this guy been? Because the past several years, that is not the tact he has taken in his commentary.
But that's the thing. There have been Republicans like him, and then there's Shep Smith was always a straight shooter on Fox.
Sure. And
then MSNBC actually has got a couple of people that have crossed over.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a lot of people here and there. It's just a matter of where are you getting your information from. But this idea that is being propagated by the president and a lot of Republicans that the media is just this hatchet job out to get the president is blatantly false. I mean, there are people who have a viewpoint that, yes, there was absolutely wrongdoing, and we've seen it, and we've seen evidence of it. And the more moderate person will say, well, wait, let's see until we get all the full slate of stuff. But, I mean...
Impeachment Explained, that's what Ezra Klein's podcast is called.
Okay.
And like I said, he brings on... It's not his opinion. Mm-hmm. He brings on various scholars and lawyers and legal experts to talk about it. So it's not...
What is this testimony? What does it mean? How does it impact stuff? Yeah. It's a lot. It really is.
And the more you find out about the backstory to how we actually got here,
mm-hmm.
it's fucking it was I had lunch with one of my old bosses, and I forgot how much of a right wing nut he can be last week, and he's black, and he was like, so he think he should be impeached over a phone call, and I was like, you really haven't been paying attention. Like, there is so much more to this than this phone call.
Right. I mean, the phone call is really just the wrapper of you're holding up military aid that was already allocated by Congress, and you're conditioning it to getting information on a political rival.
But the way that they had been working that for months.
Yeah, and we've got William Barr going around the world trying to prove a conspiracy theory.
Right. And this
is the person who's in charge of he's the chief law enforcement officer in the United States.
And that's the thing, is that all of this comes from a conspiracy theory that somebody told Trump that Ukraine was responsible for the hack instead of Russia. And he went down this rabbit hole, and he's going to get impeached because of a fucking conspiracy theory. And because he was stupid enough to hire Paul Manafort. And a lot of this goes back to dark money that he was owed from the former people who were in charge in Ukraine.
It's a mess. It really, really is. And I mean, there have been a lot of things up to this point where people have argued we should be able to impeach him for this, we should be able to impeach him for that, and some of them, those, there's a valid point on them, and others, it's a huge gray area whether those are impeachable things, but this really isn't.
Yeah, this is extortion and bribery.
Right, for your own personal gain. And this argument that, I mean, and with the president tweeting out Republicans don't fall into this thing that it wasn't a perfect phone call. It was a perfect phone call. There's no such thing as a perfect phone call.
Unless somebody told you, oh, that was a perfect call. Don't worry about it.
You weirdo.
Yeah.
You weirdo.
Oh my God.
Dude. I don't know what you're talking about. It's a perfect phone call.
Someone in Donald Trump's life, someone who knows Donald Trump, needs to just go up to him and give him a hug and whisper in his ear, it's okay. You're good enough. You're smart enough. You're okay. It's going to be okay.
No, his guys got Al Franken out, and he was the only guy that would have done that.
He needed the lady from the help.
You is good.
You is good.
He needed Stuart. He needed Stuart Smalley,
right?
And Al Franken.
He needed one of them.
I mean, he clearly needs to just build his own ego in a way that is clearly not healthy.
You know, one of my old coworkers, him and I were talking, and he was like, Trump has never had a friend.
No.
Like, he's never had a friend. Like, and once you can understand that, like, this guy has never had a friend, he's had acquaintances or people that he's paid money to, and then he does his fundraising stuff and whatnot, and goes to these other dinners and stuff. But he doesn't have any, like, nobody's actually his friend.
It's a really sad story when you break it down that way.
Yeah. Like, I mean, like, that's the way he was raised, and that's where he was put into.
But
by his
it may not
family.
necessarily be that nobody is his friend. Is that he won't let anybody be his friend.
I don't think he understands what is necessary to be a friend.
Yeah, he doesn't know what.
I mean, that's the thing, and that comes from partially how he was brought up, but clearly this dude has suffered some sort of mental trauma.
If he wasn't who he was as far as his parents and whatnot, he would probably be dead or in jail, because the stuff that he's done, somebody would have killed him for, or he would have been arrested for. Because
when he took all those Polish guys out of their money, you would have thought that would have the end of him.
Well, because he reminds me of one of my friends when we were in the Air Force, who I think he had a drinking problem, but he's the dude that would fight you when you would try to take his keys to prevent him from drunk driving.
Yeah. Well, and Trump's brother died essentially of alcoholism. Yeah. His sister, by the way, is just retired as a judge of all things. She ended the court inquiry into her role in tax dodges as she was on her way out. Her name is Marianne Trump Berry, and she was a federal appellate judge. She ended an investigation into whether she violated judicial conduct rules by participating in fraudulent tax schemes with her siblings. That's
siblings?
Siblings.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Who's her sibling?
Oh, that would be Donald John Trump.
Oh.
DJT.
Is that her only sibling?
No, well, I think he might be the only living one.
Yeah. Okay.
Because they had their brother Fred,
Right.
who passed away, and he was a drinker, and that's one of the reasons why Donald Trump doesn't drink. It was because he saw his brother do that. I mean, if you really break it down to human terms, and you take away all of the shit he's done to people, you can't help but go, man, I'd like to travel back in time and give that 8-year-old kid a hug and go, dude, I know this sucks, but it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
But then he did all of these things, and you just go, dude, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
He's that he's that friend that will fight you over his keys when you're trying to protect him from himself.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And I will say this: I will borrow a phrase from my new favorite show, Letterkenny, as I tell President Trump, "Wish you weren't so fucking awkward, bud." Yeah. If you haven't watched Letterkenny, do it. It's on Hulu. They just dropped their 7th season.
And fuck you for making me start watching that shit.
Are you not enjoying it?
I am, but I'm sitting. Oh man,
it's a wonderful show. It really. Have you started watching it?
I have not started watching it.
It's not kid friendly.
Yeah.
But it's really fucking fantastic.
and the reason I say it is because I turned it on to try to go to sleep, and then I couldn't go to sleep.
You ended up watching like 8 episodes of it.
Yeah. God damn it.
Yeah.
Did you watch They Call Me My Name is Dolomite, or is it They Call Me Dolomite?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did. Yeah. Did we
Yeah.
all talk about it?
Yes, we
talked about it,
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
Were you here for that?
I thought
I mean,
was.
mentally?
Maybe not.
I mean, physically, I know you were here.
there was another show. There was something else that was on too that I felt there was 2 things that were on that we. Yeah, never mind.
All right.
Never mind.
And now it's time for the airing of the fucking grievances.
If you're new to the show, on Monday we air our grievances, the things that have been driving us crazy, irritating us, well, basically causing us angst. Let's start with you, Jason. What is your grievance?
Man, it's fucking getting old. That's my fucking grievance. Just the fucking whole process of it. Kids, everything. Like, I've been trying to play this new game I talked about on our Wednesday show.
Yeah, you hinted on it.
This game called The Outer Worlds. And there's sometimes you're killing a lot of shit, and then other times you're just talking to people for a while and making decisions while you're talking to people. I swear to God, my mother-in-law will go to sleep like at 9:30. I'll be like, oh man, I'm gonna get like an hour and a half of time to play. I'll load it up and I'll start playing, and then within 15 minutes, 20 minutes of me playing, I jolt myself awake and I'm running into a wall. Or the other day, I fired my gun in a crowded room, and everybody was trying to kill me all of a sudden. But like, what woke me up and jolted me up was my controller vibrating in my hands because I just accidentally fired like this grenade, and everybody hated me, and I had to reload because. Anyhow, man, it just sucks, dude. Like, no matter how much caffeine I take, I drink. I say take because I use it as a drug, no doubt about it. I just can't stay up late sometimes anymore, man. And then when I do, it becomes really bad because then it's like, if I can get past that hump from like 10 to 11:30, if I get past that hump, then I'm like up till 2:30 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and then I'm really fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a drag getting old.
Yeah, so that's what happened, man.
Kareem, what about you?
To go back to something that you said earlier about the slant of the media, their mainstream media, Pete Buttigieg is not going to be your candidate no matter how much you try to push him on the country. He does not have any support in the black community, and it is not because he's gay. It's because he looks like the white dude who would call the police on you.
Well, to be fair, Donald, if you watch the Letterkenny, to be fair, Donald Trump didn't have a lot of support in the black community either. And look at him.
Yeah, that was the Republican Party. In order to look, the black people are going to determine who is our next president. Mainstream media, you need to stay the fuck out of Iowa and Ohio and all of the middle America to trying to figure out this shit. That's not who's going to decide who our next president is. You need to take your ass to where black people are, because those are the people who are going to be the margin of who or who is not going to be our next president. So you can keep pretending like we are not there. You can keep pretending like he's going to be. He has a great story. Yes, he has. But he's another unqualified white dude who has not done enough to be in that seat.
Well, the good thing for Pete Buttigieg is he's still really young and he has time.
Yes.
Yeah, he can run for Senate, run for Congress.
So go
ahead and do all of that, build that resume out, and show.
He has the public service beforehand, though, right?
No,
I mean, like
he's the fucking mayor of the fourth.
Yeah, but
it'd be like the mayor of Sacramento running for president.
But prior to that, wasn't he in the CIA?
He was in the service.
He was in the military.
He was in the military.
Yeah.
And he was a Rhodes Scholar. That's it. That's all he had.
All right. I'm just okay, and I get it. And I'm not saying that he should be the next president, but I'm saying that, like, by today's standards, that's more than qualified.
No, it's not.
Well, it's more qualified than the guy there now.
Yeah.
Right. That's not our standard.
I know. I listen. I mean, like, I think, like, if you want to look at like the people
Pete
that
Buttigieg has the support that he has right now, the same way Donald Trump ended up president, is because the mainstream media kept showing him because he was a good story. That's why he has the support that he has now, is because he's a good story.
He is a good story, and the other thing is he's also a compelling speaker. And he's smart, and he seems measured and reasonable, and that's appealing to a lot of people.
Yes.
But I completely get your point.
So it's like,
yeah, your point's not lost on me.
Yeah.
No.
I'm like, you're trying to push him to be the candidate. And the thing is, we see through it, and they don't understand that we see through it.
Yeah. It's I've seen a lot on that recently.
So who's do you think is going to be the black candidate?
Joe Biden is the black candidate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Elizabeth Warren is probably number 2 in that spot.
But not Bernie?
But
He's not in there?
No, not Bernie.
Not Kamala Harris?
Not Kamala Harris.
Oh, not Kamala Harris. For sure not Kamala Harris. Come on, man.
And definitely not Bernie either.
Yeah?
No.
Why not Bernie?
The same reason Pete.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, no. Bernie speaks to... Bernie has black people on his staff, but he doesn't speak to black people. Like he did the march, or he did the march on Washington, but he hasn't done anything for or with black people since then.
Well, to be fair, in Vermont there really aren't many black people to do things for. So, as a congressman and senator from Vermont, serving as a constituency, the constituency is 98% white.
Right.
And he did focus on...
And Bernie... So Bernie is the old version of Mayor Pete.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, like...
Bernie, I don't think Bernie Sanders is ever going to be president.
No, I don't think he is either. No, I'm really... Like, if Biden's smart, he's going to pair up with Warren soon. Like, that's really, I think, the ticket that we'll end up seeing. Something of that nature.
So, actually, the ticket that you should be watching out for is Biden and Stacey...
Dash?
No, Stacey of...
Keach?
Shit, what is Stacey's last
Stacey
name?
Keebler?
She ran for governor of Georgia. That's
yeah.
That's the ticket you should be looking out for. Because one of them...
Joe Biden and a lady who can't win the governorship of Florida? Of Georgia?
There's a whole reason why she didn't win. You talk about voter suppression. That's a whole nother conversation.
I'm just fucking with you. I know.
But that's the ticket. Stacey Abrams. That's the ticket that you should be looking out for. But again, Mayor Pete's not going to be the candidate, and the other part is they like to push this because black people are homophobic and no, we don't know. One, they don't know you. Two, you don't have any black people from your state or your city that are supporting you. And three is you look like the white guy who called the police on us.
To be fair, I look like the white guy that might call the police on you.
Yeah, but not you. No, you look like you would be okay. He looks. Oh,
good. All right.
He looks like
It's the haircut.
he looks like the dickish white dude that would call the police on him. That's what he looks like.
He does kind of look like the guy that was in the video with the daughter that was like, "Don't, Dad, don't do this."
He does. He looks. That's what he looks
Looks
like.
like that guy.
All right, so my grievance, not political at all, because
Oh, come on, let's do it, dude.
No, I don't want to do it.
No, I'm saying let's hear the grievance.
My grievance, and I'm sort of pulling here from here and there. My grievance is grocery stores.
All right, lay it on us.
I traditionally will shop at the Nugget, which I enjoy. I enjoy the Nugget. Every now and then, if I just need a couple of things, I will go to Rayleigh's. What really fucking frosts my nutsack is when I find something at Rayleigh's that I like, and then I go look for it at Nugget, where I shop most of the time, and they don't fucking have it. And now it's like, now I feel like I'm forced to go to multiple grocery stores, and I don't care for that.
What can you find at Rayleigh's that you can't get at Nugget? Because
Okay.
Nugget's like that's sophisticated shopping. FYI,
It really is.
I mean, if you're not from Sacramento, it's
Right.
like I hear talk about Wegmans as being really nice, like a really nice grocery store. I would say that it's like that, but nicer.
Yeah. I mean, Nugget is fantastic.
So what do they have? What do they have at Rayleigh's that they don't have?
The one thing that I've recently found at Rayleigh's that they do not have at Nugget is Kinder's makes a barbecue sauce with no sugar in it.
Oh yeah, that's one of our favorites.
They don't have it at Nugget. They do not have it at Nugget. And it's frustrating because as I'm tweaking my diet and things like that, I'm looking for things that don't necessarily have sugar. And so now if I want to have that, I have to go to Rayleigh's. Now, there's a hot sauce I found, which I like, and I forget the name of it. It's cheaper at Nugget than it is at Rayleigh's.
How the hell does that happen?
There's a lot of things that are cheaper at Nugget than at Rayleigh's.
No way.
There absolutely are.
You gotta be fucking kidding me.
And that's why they took Rayleigh Field and turned it into Sutter Health Park or whatever the fuck they're calling it.
Oh, is it? Did it change?
The sign is down.
What?
The sign is down. The illuminated letters are down, and that's really my grievance. Rayleigh Field is no more.
What?
The naming rights have changed for next season, and the big, like, I get off the freeway when I go home to West Sac, and I've been for the past several years, I look over and I see the letters Rayleigh Field illuminated across the front of the park. Gone. And they have not put the new Sutter Health lighted sign up yet. There is a banner. When you drive by, you can see it during the day. But yeah,
That's a sucky ass name for a field.
it's Sutter. I believe Sutter Health Park is what they're calling it.
And
Wow.
you didn't even. I know it's named Rayleigh Field, but you didn't really associate it with Rayleigh's. It was just Rayleigh Field.
Well, I always did because it's right across. It was literally
Their
across
headquarters.
kitty corner from the headquarters.
I didn't know that was a headquarters.
Yeah, right across the street. Yeah,
right in West Sac.
it's
So
that is man.
it's a long way to go to get to my grievance, wasn't it?
Yeah, fuck Sutter Health.
Hold on. Let's not be crazy. All right, we've got to get to the rest of this stuff. We spent way too long on our grievances and nonsense. Mike Tyson has revealed that he smokes $40,000 worth of pot a month
Damn.
at his cannabis vacation ranch, where his guests are invited to take as much marijuana as they want. I can't understand how Mike would have gotten into financial issues. His Tyson Ranch is here in California. He said that weed saved him when he was spiraling with severe substance abuse, so he has founded his cannabis company in 2016 to make weed more accessible. By the way, it's near Desert Hot Springs, so it's in a terrible, terrible place. You know where Desert Hot Springs is.
Oh, I know, right? I mean, like,
If you've watched Cops, you're familiar with Desert Hot
the
Springs.
thing that's shitty about that is that I guarantee you, like, if it was somebody else, like, that wasn't Mike Tyson, they would say Palm Springs or Coach, because it's like it is so close and on top of Palm Springs, right? I mean,
yeah, it's just up the hill.
It's just right across the on the other side of the freeway.
And if he didn't know where it was, he's gonna go hunt it down.
Oh man,
Jason.
No, I know where it does. I've actually. So I worked at this camp once, and this guy that was in charge of the camp. I remember we
One
went
time at band camp.
No, so dude, I don't know, man. Dude had some issues. I remember one time I went with him and he's from Chicago too, so he had that Chicago accent. But he was the camp director, and this was after he was the camp director. This
Did
is
he
later.
stick a flute in your booty?
No, but we went down to Desert Hot Springs so him and his brother, who was visiting, could pick up some crack.
I'd have rather he stuck.
Yeah. So we went out to Desert Hot Springs, picked it up, and then they stopped at 7-Eleven and picked up a chore boy. I learned all about how to smoke crack if I ever wanted to. Remember, we were driving back, and I was in the back seat, and these dudes start smoking in front of me, and I'm like, what have I gotten my fucking self into, man? Fucking smoking as they're driving up the fucking yeah. That was back when I was like 22, and I didn't really know how to stand up for myself, I'd say. But funny story, after this, like probably like 3 months after this, he got punched in the face by two guys that thought he was a narc, and they broke his jaw, and he had his jaw was wired shut for like a year.
Oh damn!
Because man, I was like, if there's a lesson that ever taught me never ever to smoke or try crack. It was when I found out like that. Well, I was smart enough in the car. Just like, nope. Oh man,
I love how you needed such a violent, vivid example of why not to smoke crack.
Oh no, that yeah. I mean, like that, dude. I don't think I don't know if he ever smoked crack after that, but
I mean, for me, all I needed was Chappelle's show to teach me never to smoke crack. I mean, that was really all I needed. Back to Tyson. Despite becoming the head of a weed empire, Tyson doesn't actually grow or produce any of the marijuana himself. Instead, it's all sourced and inspected to reach his high standards and is given his seal of approval. His strains must be cultivated indoors, harvested based on maturity, cured over 30 days to ensure natural flavonoids, naturally derived, hand-trimmed, pesticide-free, and lab-tested. That's according to the Tyson Holistic website. His partner said, we're not burdened with bad crops. We're not burdened with legalities. We're selling paper, packaging, and market share because basically they're putting Mike Tyson's name on other people's stuff. So, I mean, good for him. All the weed he wants and
exactly
making the other kind of green.
I know where Chris and I are going on vacation.
All right.
Not there.
Time for
Florida, land of enchantment and crazy shit. This is Florida Corner.
A man spotted riding a Segway in the wrong direction on a Florida road is facing a drunk driving charge. Now, the suspect admitted to drinking nearly 2 bottles of wine before piloting the self-balancing vehicle. His name is Anthony Segiers. He's 48. And he was busted after cops saw him going head-on into cars on a road in Davenport, which is about 35 miles south of Orlando. Segiers, who lives there, made multiple spontaneous statements about being drunk and being an alcoholic.
Oh, poor guy.
Cops say he smelled the booze and showed other signs of intoxication during field sobriety tests. Subsequent tests showed his blood alcohol level to be around 3 times the legal limit. He's listed as retired in court records, charged with DUI, released on the misdemeanor charge after posting $1,000 bail. Now, Florida criminal statutes classify the Segway as a motor vehicle since it's operated on the roads, used to transport persons or property, and propelled by power other than muscular power. Muscular power.
Rawr.
Oh, yeah. Vehicle. Meanwhile, in another part of Florida, police say they've arrested a Florida man who's accused of threatening his neighbors with nunchucks and bug spray before cutting his own head when he accidentally hit himself with the weapon.
Oh, man.
He was drunk. He was drunk as fuck.
Daytona Beach Police spokesman Masad Bendayan says 61-year-old, he looks good for 61. Larry Adams, Black Don't Crack, Kareem, complained about his neighbor's loud music coming from a car in the parking lot on their Daytona apartment complex. Police say Adams sprayed 4 of his neighbors with roach spray and swung his nunchucks in a threatening manner and hit himself. Is there any other manner to swing nunchucks other than threatening?
Oh, God.
I mean, yeah.
No.
He's charged with aggravated assault and battery with a deadly weapon.
Some bitches better get on around here.
Neighbor Cece Sylvester tells WOFL she was surprised Adams used a bug spray since she was not a roach.
Oh, come on, CC.
Oh my God.
Cece.
Oh man.
So let me ask you this, fellas. This mark on the forehead, is that where you think that's where the nunchuck hit him right there?
Part of it. Part of it.
Just above between the eyes.
Yeah.
Dumbass.
Man.
All right, this sort of qualifies as Florida Corner, but it's Roger Stone news. He's in Florida. His criminal trial has now started. He's again casting for suckers willing to reach into their pockets to pay for his living expenses. In an email blast to subscribers on his mailing list, the 67-year-old whines that criminal entanglements have been difficult and exhausting, adding that the pressure and stress is nearly unbearable. His email solicitation, which includes 4 separate red Donate Now buttons, claims that oily GOP operative and his wife Nydia have lost our home and our savings and we're struggling to stay afloat. The woe is me pitch from Stone assures perspective marks that his situation is dire. I do not exaggerate in the slightest, he added. I love that the smoking gun calls him the invertebrate liar. Donations to the Stone Family Support Fund are not tax deductible and are considered personal gifts to Roger and Nydia Stone for their unrestricted use. That's according to the donation page. Stone is also soliciting contributions to the Roger Stone Legal Defense Fund, gifts to which are also not deductible. Now, while claiming to be broke, he's hired a private defense counsel instead of opting for representation by the Federal Defender Program. To secure such free counsel, the defendant has to file sworn financial statements attesting to their destitution. So he isn't. That would be difficult. For him. His former waterfront residence in Fort Lauderdale, where he was arrested by the FBI in January, was a rental, as were his 2 prior homes. He and his wife have recently relocated to Coral Way. It has a swimming pool, a boat dock, and brand new residence 3 miles away. But instead of renting, they bought an 1,800 square foot 3-bedroom townhome. So,
Yeah.
He also has a merch store too. If you want to buy his,
You can buy some rocks.
yep.
You can buy some Roger Stones.
This is a story from 2012.
Oh,
Yeah, no, not reading that story. All right, that's gonna do it for Florida Corner. Let's see, we're running. Oh, you know what? We've got a little bit of a double dip on small town news for you. Very important. By the way, thanks everybody who's been shopping that Shop Amazon tab at the top of WTHpodcast.com. We do appreciate it's WTH Pod, not podcast. Sorry. If you're old school, it's NateDarlingShow.com. Same place.
same thing.
Same website. It helps support the show. It doesn't cost you anything extra. So go ahead and hit that, bookmark it, and do all of your Amazon shopping, especially as we enter into gift giving season.
Ooh.
And there's also the Shop Target tab, too. So,
I just put something in my cart yesterday, and I was like, I'm going to go back and buy it through a tab.
woo! And that's what everybody should do because it helps support.
If I purchase something with my points, do you still get a percentage of it?
I don't believe so, but I don't know the answer to that.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll test it out.
You know what? It doesn't hurt to do it.
I'll try.
The worst that'll happen is we won't get it, but there'll be a recognition of, oh, hey, this was bought through your tab. You just don't get anything for it.
Yeah.
That's
You'll
sort
be
of.
able to see that I bought that big 55-gallon tub of lube.
I will get to see that someone bought a 55-gallon tub of lube, which, by the way, I do know, in fact, that you can get on Amazon.
Yep.
Yes.
As at one point went on a tour of the Kink production facilities in San Francisco a few years ago. I believe they've closed now.
Oh, that's too bad.
Or they moved to Vegas is what they did.
Oh, well, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What happens in Vegas?
Well,
Stays
they
in-
also don't have the condom laws in Nevada that we have in California.
Oh, yeah.
For-
you know what I'm talking
for
about.
adult performers.
Oh, yeah. Gotta
Yeah.
get it raw, dog.
I'm really curious. Just let me quickly look up SF Armory because it was in the San Francisco Armory. Nope, it is still owned by Kink.com and Kink University. All right.
Right on, man.
Sold for $65 million.
Yeah, which, by the way, a building that size in the middle of San Francisco, that's a pretty cheap price. I mean, it's a big, big building in the Mission. It's the corner of Mission and 14th Streets. It's a historic building.
Oh, it was sold in 2018.
Oh, no, you're right. Okay, there we go. So it is no longer owned by the pornographers.
Well, you know. Announced by the SF Armory LLC, an affiliate of AJ Capital Partners.
Yeah, I would almost bet that maybe the pornographers were better folk.
Go back up to the last page.
The search page, yes, sir.
And
When you start seeing LLCs
go down a little bit.
and affiliates of the LLC, like you know that shit's just
Upcoming events?
No, Kink's Armory Club will stay put amid sale.
Yeah, but that was in April of 2018. So who knows what's going on? It's an interesting thing. The Armory Club is going to stay put. It's a cocktail. Yeah, it's just a cocktail thing. They moved all of their video production to Vegas.
all of it.
So, anywho, that's what's happening there. Let's. What a divergent end to the show.
Wow.
You know, it's there's an episode of Letterkenny, I believe it's in season 6, where where Squirrely Dan is disturbed by the pornography that he watches, which then becomes them all figuring out what everybody watched. They watched a lot of pornography in the bar.
Oh God.
Yeah, it was something to look forward to. God, I love Letterkenny. I'm going to be so sad when I reach the end because I have like 3 episodes left and then I'm done. They're on tour, and I found out they are coming to San Francisco. Here's the rub: I'm not spending $300 a ticket to see Letterkenny live.
$300
for the good seats, and the ones in the way back on the secondary market are $125 each.
Yeah, not one good.
Yep, that's a hard no. Hard no for $300 for that. I mean, as much as I love the show and I appreciate the people in it, $300 is a hard no for me.
Yeah, but they know their audience out there. Shit. San Francisco people can pay $300.
I'm curious how much is. There's a lot of places where they've added second shows. Like they're touring the country. Out west, I think they're in Portland. They're doing L.A. They're doing San Francisco. But they've added second shows in places like Nashville and Atlanta. So
I'd wonder what their price scheme, their tickets are as far as cost is concerned in those other cities.
yeah, and I didn't look at that, but I mean, they're doing really well for what started as a Canadian web series that was then picked up by a Canadian network,
Right.
Canadian cable network.
Yeah.
That is now it's now being produced by Hulu. Like season 7 is a Hulu presentation. So I mean, they're all Hulu exclusives in the U.S. But to go from you're doing a web series to this, and you're getting $300 a ticket. By the way, there are exactly 4 tickets left in the venue.
Oh wow!
4 $300 tickets left in the venue. That's all. That is all, and there are only 2 other tickets that are on the secondary market for that show coming up in April.
Damn, dude.
The show is in April.
People love their Letterkenny.
I mean, I was stuck because I literally just found out about it a few weeks ago, and I'm like, where's all this been? One of my friends informed me that I'm one of the few people who isn't a partaker in marijuana who watches the show.
I can see that.
Yeah. But I don't feel like I have to be. It's not like Cheech and Chong where I felt like I was missing something because I wasn't inebriated in one way or another. All right, let's get the hell out of here with this.
Let's leave the hustle and bustle for small town news.
Yeah.
We will start in St. Johnsbury, Vermont, where the Railroad Street McDonald's building is torn down.
Oh.
That's right. The former McDonald's building at 275 Railroad Street in St. Johnsbury has stood empty since the landmark fast food restaurant closed in 2018. But on Wednesday of last week, well, 2 weeks ago at this point, the building was torn down by a demolition crew, leaving just a pile of rubble. Basically, they didn't renew their lease. It's the same Bartley Management Company, which is based in Derby, Vermont, which is way up in the Northeast Kingdom, where I'm from. Operates the McDonald's franchises in Littleton, Woodsville, New Hampshire, Derby, Vermont, and Lyndonville. Here's the rub, Jason. The next closest McDonald's restaurant is about 10 miles away in Lyndonville.
Damn.
That's why it's small town news.
Gotta love it.
When you got to go 10 miles to get to the next McDonald's. Here's the original and best small town news from Newport, Vermont. The city has voted yes to ATVs on city streets.
Oh, man.
Woo-hoo. ATVs are going to be allowed on city streets. And I mean, the one question when I saw that was,
I don't know that I do. A 3-1 city council vote in favor of the 5-month trial period. ATVs will be allowed on city streets in Newport starting in May of 2020. The ordinance was approved at a meeting with a majority of attendees in favor of the measure. Well, of course they are. The place is full of hillbillies. I know. I'm from there. Those who opposed the ordinance said they feared ATV riders would not obey the speed laws and create an unneeded danger for motorists. They also voiced concerns over the noise the machines will bring. Now, while the ordinance takes effect, riders must drive single file. ATVs will still be banned on public property. The mayor, Paul Manette, who supported the ordinance, says he hopes it will boost the local economy. Well, sure, you ride your four-wheeler downtown.
Yes.
I'm going to ride my four-wheeler downtown and pick up something. I don't know what's open there anymore. I really don't. He also alluded to the fact that a trial basis leaves room to revisit the decision or completely do away with it if issues arise. Now, Julie Reboin, who's the only council member who voted against it, the 6-month trial period would end in October of 2020 when people can start riding their snow machines down the street.
Wow.
By the Jesus, I'm going to get on my four-wheeler and I'm going to ride it to town. I'm going to go to the dollar store and then I'm going to go to the Maple Fields and I'm going to get me all the stuff I need and then I'm going to ride my four-wheeler back home. And by the Jesus, that's the way it should be.
That's right.
And that is small-town news for you.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I'm related to people who talk like that. They're fine people. Just telling you. And by the Jesus, if you don't realize how good it's going to be that you can just get on your four-wheeler and go downtown to the dollar store and to the Maple Fields and get yourself a coffee, I don't know what the hell you're thinking.
By Jesus.
By the Jesus. By the Jesus, Jason. Jesus H. Christ, I don't know what you're thinking over there, but...
the only Jesus I know punches cops.
by the Jesus. Anyway, that's going to do it for us for this episode of the WTH podcast. I hope you enjoyed yourself. I hope you weren't too terrified by these stories and the people in them. And, when I ask people, what do they think of the show, I put it in a form of a question when I ask.
Oh, yeah? You like that? You like that? Yeah?
If you do, tell a friend about the WTH podcast. I'm really sorry if you don't. I'm sorry. Look, it's news. We explore news stories. That's what we do here. They're not always positive.
Not always.
Not always. All right. See you next time. Bye, everybody.